Oh. Thank you, Jesus. Come on in. I'm perfect. Oh. This is the mindfulness bell. And we ring it to start our Sunday service. There's something about ringing a bell and setting an intention. When I studied with Thich Nhat Hanh, every session would be, the bell would ring, and he would take us into a meditation. And it was a silent retreat. And throughout the retreat, the bell would ring and we'd stop. And it was truly an experience of intimacy with the moment. Meeting what was, externally and also internally. And the most beautiful thing was there was no need to have a conversation, because there was this experience of intimacy with life. Intimacy into me see. And so we start the service by taking us into that place of awareness. Awareness is the Lord of everything. And when we become aware, we step out of thought patterns, we step out of belief systems. In fact, the Buddha consciousness is the awake, aware consciousness. And so we cultivate that awareness moment to moment. And we smile. The calligraphy over my head is from Thich Nhat Hanh himself. And I purchased it when I left that retreat. It says, I have arrived, I am home. That's arriving at that quiet place within that's always waiting for us. We so easily get distracted by thought patterns and beliefs and agendas, but the simple stopping and going within is a huge achievement in life. Because then we learn about mindfulness, being mindful in our activities, mindful in our driving. And it's a way of life. So I want you, as you sit here in the silence, to observe, who am I? Am I a neurotic person today? Or have I put the neurotic person, have I left them at home? And have I come here with the beginner's mind? With that curiosity of a jubilant and beholden soul? There is a saying that says, this is the day the Lord has made. Could I rejoice and be glad in it? And so we meet this moment in life with our jubilant and beholden heart, with an awake awareness from that field of consciousness that takes me out of the me and has me move into the we, and ultimately arriving at that quantum place of the all. It is all the one life. You could call it a universal presence. And we share that universal presence with everyone and everything. And we smile. Thich Nhat Hanh coined a phrase called inner being. We inter are. There is but one life. That life, Ernest Holmes says, is God's life, or Spirit's life, or the awake awareness. And it is within us and it is all around us. And we come here to experience this unity consciousness, this universality, this expanded sense of belonging to something so much greater than me, because we experience our inner beingness. And what a beautiful day to do it. Today we have our Breaking Bread celebration, so we get to share together. I feel so grateful to be sitting here with so much love all around me, with my penguin spirit animal sitting at my feet, and a jubilant and beholden heart. And so I invite you to take a deep integrating breath. Give a sigh for the divine. And know that you have arrived. Oh, it's so nice to look out at all these beautiful people. Let's do an opening song. I think that would kind of get the vibration going. These two lovely people, Bob and Kelly, have prepared something. It always is the highlight for me. You're so pretty. God, I love you guys. So much beauty out there. I can't wait to run around and give you all hugs.
This is a song by Peter Mayer, Mayer. It's called Holy Now. Everything is holy now. When I was a girl each week, Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track. 'Cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath, like I'm swimming in a sea of it. Used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. I'm walking with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face, This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like the scriptures. Made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then, 'cause everything is holy now. Used to be a world out there, 7-second rate hand me down. Now I walk with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
Oh, beautiful. He who can see God in the smallest of things is better than seeing an angel. Everything is holy now. Wow. I mean, that kind of sums it up. Our teaching is very in line with quantum theory. And in quantum mechanics, they talk about you move out of the me consciousness and you enter into the we consciousness, and then you arrive at the all. That it's all the one life revealing itself. So it's never been about the individual. It's been about our universality. I took this young man who's here for the first time into the men's room where we had this life-size poster of Albert Einstein. And he says, we've been given this mind and this intelligence. And he says, as beautiful as that is, it can be a trap where we think it's my thoughts, my ideas. And he says, if we could just surrender that and enter into a universal consciousness, he says, then we would realize that everything is alive with presence. And it takes us out of the me into this inner beingness. It's funny, I love to pick a theme for the month, and the theme I picked for the month of May is living in and as the mystery of this one presence. And the first Sunday, I chose this one because it's kind of a slap in my face. It's moving beyond beliefs. We get stuck in these beliefs, and those beliefs can be a prison that we live in. I believe in the one God, maker of heaven and earth, and Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord. That's the Apostles' Creed. I had to memorize that as a little boy. And when you move out of that belief system, what if it's something so much bigger? And it's asking us to discover that something bigger. I got my Science of Mind magazine in the mail just the other day. Sylvia and I love this magazine. And I thought it's funny, the month of May, the theme is doubt is our devotion. And then they had this lovely article by Ernest Holmes saying the greatest problem we ever experience is ourselves. Holy cow. Megan's nodding her head there. That's good, 2 minutes. Emerging from the cage of ignorance, of the cage of me. And Ernest Holmes starts by talking about Plato. And Plato, I'll give you a little Ernest Holmes. He says the brain is filled with beliefs, assumptions that we make about ourselves and the world, and our most sacred beliefs. These are the ones that give our lives meaning and purpose. But enlightenment can shatter all those beliefs, leaving us in turmoil as we wrestle to integrate a new sense of wisdom. That's what you're looking for, Cole. In Plato's famous allegory, a group of prisoners have been chained together and forced to face the walls of a dark cave, and a fire burns in the center behind them, casting dancing shadows along the walls. This is a metaphor. The prisoners use these shadows on the wall to build a cosmology about the nature of the universe. Let's try to figure it out. We're all in this together. Ultimately, one prisoner breaks free from the cave. He leaves the cave and he stumbles into the light of day. And at first he's terrified because nothing fits this belief that he has. And as his eyes adjust, he discovers the profound beauty of the world. Excitedly, he races back into the cave to share his wonderful news with his fellow prisoners. But instead of following him into the light, they kill him. Oh dear. It's a metaphor, it's a story, it's not true. Why did they kill him? They were afraid to abandon their familiar belief system and step into something that they didn't know. Now, our teaching is kind of like that. Because we don't have that old wrathful God up there, that, when I would, some of you haven't been here before, I had a heart attack when I was 69, and I went to the heart center to have what they call a stress test. And this is such an enlivening moment for me, and it was filled with old people, primarily my age, and this beautiful young thing was sitting next to me, and I said, I think you're in the wrong place, miss, and she says, oh, I'm here with my mother, and I said, well, what a thoughtful thing to do to accompany your mom to this event. And she said, oh, you're such a nice man, what do you do for a living? I said, well, I'm a minister. And she said to me, are you a Christian minister? I said, well, they would say we're not because we don't have Jesus as our personal savior. And then she said to me, you're going to burn in hell, don't you? And I said, Jesus would never have said that to me. But thank you for giving me my first stress test, and now I'll sit over here. And I share that with you because it's a real live experience of what the world can think. If you don't have their belief system, you're going to burn in hell. Jesus never said that kind of stuff to people. He said to love those, do good to those. So poor Jesus, they're using his name to tell me I'm going to burn in hell. Holy cow, get out of the cave. Okay, try this experiment. And this is funny, Ernest Holmes says this. Write down 10 of your most cherished beliefs that you hold on to about life, about love, about God. And he says the power of prayer and everything that you assume to be true about yourself and the whole world. Now gaze at your list and ask yourself this. What if these beliefs aren't true? What if they're false? Would you have the courage to step out of the cave of your own ignorance? And so this is the idea that I want to throw out today. Could we step out of the belief systems that might be holding us back in a way that isn't going to be supportive of who we are? In my classes, they're so evolved. We're now teaching about being light beings and what we are as light. I'm so excited about that. All is love and all is light, and that's what we are. Wow. Our newest brain scan research shows that the more willing and open-minded you are, well, then the happier you will feel. So we're trying to get an open mind, and this is a science of mind. So Ernest Holmes goes on to explain this. He said, our ego clings desperately to those old belief systems, even though they often blind us to the truth. That's what you're experiencing then, those old beliefs that you have to achieve X, Y, or Z within 6 months. No, you're going to be unfolding for the rest of your life, my buddy. And yet, your brain has been programmed since birth to achieve these goals. Oh God, anybody have an overachieving brain in their head? I was valedictorian, Phi Beta Kappa. I had to get all these damn grades. For what? I have those, they didn't mean anything, by the way, but I have. You must be willing to surrender your most sacred belief system, he says. The reward is greater than you can imagine. You will change the functioning of your brain in a way that allows you to experience greater serenity, clarity, and bliss. So to let go of the things that you're holding on to, I am letting go of the things that no longer serve me. And as I'm letting go, I am healed, I am made whole. So ask yourself, what are those things that you might be clinging to that no longer serve you? And lastly, Ernest Holmes says, and as our research has found, you'll become more tolerant and accepting of others as you do this. Enlightenment may be humanity's path to achieving world peace. When we get our act together and stop judging anyone, well, then there's an opportunity for world peace. It has that kind of repercussion. So thank you, Science of Mind, for rattling our cages and not getting us stuck in some illusory idea of someday when, no, just let go of me and arrive at the we and realize that we're all. Oh gosh, and then life will unfold, won't it, Ed? It'll take you where you need to go, and miracles will blow you away. That's what it's all about. I went to some of my heroes, my teachers, and Llewellyn Van Lee is my mystical Rumi teacher. He's the Sufi guy. He's the one that I'm going to be teaching after we finish he's the impact of light and how we're light beings, and could we let light run our life. And this is called For the Love of the Real. The mystery is the real. And so he says, this is beautiful, mystic. He says the absolute draws us back to itself. Could you let that happen, Cole? Let the absolute draw you back to yourself, itself. And it opens our eyes to the real with a capital R within creation and allows us to see what is hidden within life, which is life's great secret, the great mystery of the oneness. So pay attention. We're being invited into a discovery process that's always there. Go for a walk in nature. Our revealing service was so magical. Bob started us off, taking us through the Okefenokee swamp, and all of a sudden, I went from alligators to this is gnats, and it's all the one life unveiling itself. Could we pay attention? And so perhaps most importantly, we have forgotten the deepest purpose of our being a human being, how we participate in the unfolding of the real within us and all around us. That's with a capital R. This divine intelligence is unfolding within us and all around us, and we get to pay attention by letting go of me and realizing our inner beingness. My beloved Adam has this bird that chases him around because he feeds him, and he comes down by his car. I mean, he literally having a relationship with a wild bird in nature just because, when so much has been lost and forgotten, Ernest told this is Llewellyn. When so much has been lost and forgotten, the danger is that we will remain caught in patterns of illusion without the ancient tools that can help us understand the real nature and purpose of life. We're here to find this true purpose in life, to be a part of the oneness. Oh, it's so good to see my old friends. In this darkness of forgetting, and really all is forgetting and remembering. When I forget who I am, I think that I'm separate from you. When I remember who I am, I remember that we're one. So it's forgetting and remembering. And in the dying of the light, it is essential to return to what is real and true, to the deepest lodestone of existence itself. Oh, God. And in the core of beingness, we carry the imprint of the absolute. Oh, gosh. Just feel the absolute within you. Let's take a drink to that. When you're saying everything is holy now, I kept saying, Jesus turned the water into wine. Well, I'll drink to that. Anyway, didn't turn it into clean water, did it? And in the core of our being, we carry the imprint of the absolute, the one reality with a big R, the source of it all with a capital S, because without it, there would be no existence itself. So Llewellyn, the very book of this book is taking us home. You are this presence unveiling itself. Pay attention. And we see it in our little kitty cat, because they're not something that is inferior to us. They are part of the, they had that big thing in Five Points. What's it called? Street? Porch Fest. And Trey didn't want to go, so I took the pug in his stroller. And there were thousands of people, and then wheeling the little pug down. And people say, oh, what a cute little dog. And they started to talk to him. And before you knew it, he wanted people to talk to him about it. So he started going, woof, woof, I'm here, woof, woof. And so I'm thinking, oh God, and now I'm having an experience with a codependent pug who wants the whole world to love him, and it was cute. Even when all else has been distorted, this remains a thread of oneness. It leads us out of the maze of our forgetfulness, and it is a journey to the core of existence itself. It is a search for what is real. Could we take that journey to experience what is real, our oneness with all creation and with each other? Wow. It is the light older than the darkness, Adam. A memory from before the mind ever existed. Ooh, that's kind of juicy, isn't it, Megan? A memory before your mind ever existed. There is a need to return to this knowing and to stay true to its imprint. It's taking us back to source, Ed. It's a call and response to bring this imprint from the innermost depths back through the veils of creation, back through both the in and the out breath, back into consciousness and into life. In oneself lies the whole world, and if you know how to look and learn, then the door is there and the key is in your hand, but no one gives you this key or the door to open. Out beyond the ideas of right thinking and wrong thinking, there is this field. And when the soul lies down in that field, words are not necessary. Even the idea of each other does not exist. I will meet you there. So there is this something that the philosophers have talked about ad infinitum, that is inviting us to go home. Go home. The I am is the way. And so that's Llewellyn. Let's see, there's just a titch at the end. I just feed off of his soul. Or I wrote this Aho. He said, this is the presence of pure beingness. And when we fully awaken in the self with a big S, we experience pure consciousness that is non-dual. That means it's not me and you, Adam. It's non-dual. It's the one consciousness. It is, period. It knows, period. There is no subject or object. There is only oneness. Is that too big, Richard? There's no subject or object. There's just oneness. I am you, you are me, we are one. And we can say it to the bugs, to the butterflies. We collect water in our house because we have this huge garden. And my husband found 2 dead chipmunks and a squirrel floating in the water. Oh, and he said, I'm a killer. And I said, I didn't kill them. I said, they drowned in the water bucket. So he wanted to throw the water bucket out, but a well-meaning soul said, just put a piece of mesh over the top. Well, there's a solution consciousness. And so I put a little mesh over the top. The water canister is full. I can now scoop out the water. There's no more dead squirrels or chipmunks, and all is well. That's a consciousness of oneness. Holy cow. This consciousness has no judgment. It is compassion itself. It is complete acceptance and pure love. Isn't it nice to know, Sylvia, we get to flow into pure love, no judgment. And when we discover this self with a big S, we discover that we are one with this self, and we are also one with everything. Oh, that is so juicy to know that you're one with everything. Everything. One Sunday, it was about a month ago, this young lady was here for the first time, and we sing this song about being one at the end of the service. And we had a board meeting that Sunday, and as I'm walking down the aisle, she falls into my arms. She said, oh my God, I'm one with everything. Tears are coming down her face. She was experiencing this field of oneness, a direct experience of oneness. Well, I couldn't just put her aside because she was having that. So I found Virginia Burroughs and I said, Virginia, will you hold this young lady? And she looked at the young lady and tears started coming down her face. A moment of oneness. And you know, I feel that when I hold an animal or when I tend the garden. So oneness is the secret of everything, says Llewellyn. And he's quoting Vivekananda. One is the secret of everything, Swami Vivekananda. The secret turns away from the world, and then in that they find the real. It's everywhere. Gradually, the veils of separation begin to lift and to reveal the self that is the breath of all. This is oneness, Donna. We're moving into oneness consciousness. It's not about you. It's never been about you. It's about knowing that we're part of this something bigger. Ed has that feeling. He's serving this something bigger, and he's the instrument. So Llewellyn lastly says this. He says, now there is a need for humanity to breathe back into life the sustaining energies of the self, with a big S, to consciously ignite the soul of the world with the same light of our own soul by knowing that we are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. Light upon light. And so when we can find this light, little light of mine, we sang it last week, and we can see then the light in the other. The light within me meets the light within Al. It's one light. At the very end, Llewellyn says, wherever you turn, there's the face of God. We have a little song, you are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. So we're moving out of the local self into the great mystery of oneness. And to do that, we need to let go of who we thought we were to experience who we really are. Bob made a suggestion that maybe I look at some scripture that might be relevant. And my favorite guy is a guy named Richard Rohr, who was a Franciscan monk. And he still is a Franciscan monk. But he, excuse my French, he pisses off the Catholic Church, and I kind of like that because he tells the truth about all this sort of stuff. And he is such, he's talking about Jacob. He says, we long for distant absolutes out there, perhaps seeking a confirmation of the absolute we already intuit within ourselves, like Jacob. We eventually awaken from the sleep and we say, God was in this place and I never knew it. God was here right along. I kept thinking that it had to come from somewhere else, and it was right where I am. So here this little Franciscan monk is saying, right where you are, this divine presence is, so pay attention. And he says, there is the first numinous experience that opens our eyes. A numinous experience is one that's filled with light. You know, like that young lady had at the center. She had a moment of a luminous experience. Brittany, we had some moment of luminous experience, you know, when I said your new one will come along, and she did. It only needs to happen once, this luminous experience. It's called a showing. And he says, God shows herself in our heart. Could we open to, Donna had a beautiful one in class when she said everything was falling apart and she looked in the mirror and the light that was reflecting back to her was this luminous experience that took her out of the identity as the loser, the failure, into someone that was transcendent. And so he says, pay attention for those luminous moments. Richard Rohr, God is choosing us now. This is the monk. My starting point is that we're already there. Oh, I love that. We cannot attain this presence of God because we're already totally within the presence of God. Isn't that nice to know? What's absent in all of this is our awareness. Now, I said in the revealing service, awareness is the most important thing. The Buddha consciousness is the one who lives in awake awareness. So when we are aware that all there is this divine presence, and it is within us, and it's within all creation, then you see it everywhere and it begins to work on you. There's this kind of resonating factor. What's absent is this awareness. Little do we realize that God is maintaining us in existence with every breath that we take. It's not someday when no, it's right now. With every breath you take, it's right there. Kind of do a little stretch, breathe in. There's nowhere to go, it's now here, as Ed reminded me. It's right here, right now. I'll drink to that. Yes, Megan, it's right now. And we take another, and it means that God is choosing us now, and now, and now, and now, and now. Well, he's a little verbose. We have nothing to attain or even learn. We do, however, need to unlearn way too much stuff. That's the stuff that we gotta get out of it. We've learned way too much stuff. Oh gosh, I'm not even gonna go down that path. We have to accept that human culture is in a mass hypnotic trance and they're sleepwalking. We've been raised to think that, like we were talking in the revealing service, some religions say you shouldn't tattoo your arms and they'll look askance at you. And our whole revealing service, half of the people had tattoos up and down their arms. So we have to accept that human culture is in mass hypnotic trance. They're sleepwalkers. And we have to be taught how to see. He says, be awake, stay watchful. Jesus says further, if your eyes is healthy, then your whole body will be full of light in Luke. So thus, we have to learn to see what is really there, not look through the lens of our judgments, our condemnation, but to see the truth. He says, Franciscan monk, expectation keeps us from a truly transformative experience called grace. If we think that these are filled with a bunch of sinners, we're going to miss that they're all here with the transcendent people lighting up the world. Experiencing radical grace is like living in another world. To me, it's all grace. Grace is the unmerited givingness of the universe. So what if everywhere you go, you could see the face of God? Even in places where you think, no, God can't be here. It's probably there more strongly than ever. It's not a world in which I labor to get God to notice me. It's not a world in which I strive for spiritual success. It's not a cosmic game of crime and punishment. Oh, this little Franciscan monk is really, he said, I'd like to say something a bit different about prayer as a monk. Prayer is not primarily saying words or thinking thoughts. Rather, it's a stance. It's a way of living in presence itself. Prayer is a way of living in presence itself. Wow. Living in the awareness of this presence with the big P. It's within me and it's all around. That's prayer. When you go through every life, every day, every moment, living in presence, seeing presence. And he says, living in the awareness of presence and even to enjoy the presence, then the full contemplative life is now just aware that all is presence. And it trusts and it allows and it delights in it all. It is much more vulnerable and leaves us without a sense of control. Such panoramic and deep seeing requires a lot of practice, but the rewards are superb and I believe necessary for both joy and truth in this world. Once we see that God is everywhere and in everything, it's not manipulating it, it's just opening to it. Randall sees that when he goes out and sits with people, he keeps his heart open so he doesn't offend them. tries to honor them where they are. And sometimes people can't handle too many illumined people like Miss Sylvia O'Neill. You have to kind of tone it down a little bit, meet them where they are, and and that's good. To live in the mystery, to live in and as the mystery. Then we don't have to have answers. We don't have to have a final goal. We can know that the universe is going to let this thing unfold, like the Center for Spiritual Living. We've been here 37 years and we keep unfolding in more of a mystical path, embracing the mystery. I don't treat for things anymore, and I really never really did treat for things. And so when you get out of that way of using spiritual law to manifest X, Y, or Z, and you realize it's about manifesting who we are, well, then you'll definitely manifest the external. So when you become the embodiment of love, you're going to find lovers and total strangers, a person on the side of the road. This young couple from the street marches, whatever, the Porch Fest, they came walking through the yard yesterday and they were blown away with the garden. So I showed them the garden, and the next thing you know, they want to move in, and they gave me their phone number, and it's just having this experience with an open heart, with a total stranger. And then my sweet husband says, do you have to talk to everybody like that? And I said, they just wanted to see the garden. And it was one of those moments where they wanted to move in. Things that join the sea and the sky. Mark Nebo talks about the mystery. And that's where we're going to end this, because the theme of the month is living in and as the mystery. Holy cow. Then there's no finite end. Then you're going to just be in the mystery for the rest of your life. Oh God, this man, he's such a hero for me. And maybe this is my favorite Rumi quote from my Zen calendar. Adam, you'll like this quote. Rumi says this: Lord, to this divine presence, the air smells so good today. It's straight from the mystery within the inner courts of God when you smell the air. A grace like new clothes that are thrown across the land. Free medicine for everybody. The trees are in their prayers and the birds are in their praise. So Rumi talks about the mystery. It's in the air that we breathe. It's free. It's in the trees. It's in the birds. And that's the great mystery. It's within us and it's all around us. But you got to pay attention. Thank you, Rumi. I had this on my mirror. Tracy, would you take this off the mirror? I said, okay, I'll bring it to church. So here's what Mark Nebo says about the great mystery. Just now it happened again. My defenses were down. My memory machine fell asleep. My dream machine was tired. And so the mystery awoke within. My mind got quiet. My dreams got quiet. And the mystery awoke within. Ooh, kind of just breathe into that, the great mystery, the capital M, which is always beaming in all directions, but it made it through to me. At that moment of clarity, the mystery releases itself like a return from an amnesia. You're remembering when Adam came in here, he came out of amnesia and he started realizing the great mystery is what was courting him. And he says, so this is what it means to be a person. How could I have ever forgotten to wake up to the great mystery of being one with everything, to be alive, to look out from these small canyons called my eyes, and to receive light from the sun off of the water, and feel the shimmer of the water in my heart. Is that what it's like, Ben, when you're out there? To listen to the silence waiting under our stories, and to long enough that all the vanished words said over time simmer together to make me feel journeys beyond my own simple one. It all kind of comes together that this has been a journey to nowhere to now here for my whole life, Ed. Till I surface before you with a humbled sense of happiness. Not because I'm any closer to what I want, or even to even know what I want, Susie Q, but because in the flood of all that is living, I am now electrified. I'm electrified by the moment. The way the muscle dreams under the skin that holds it of lifting whatever needs to be lifted, the mystery of belonging, the sweet ache of being alive. So I open to the moment, I belong in this moment, the sweet ache of being alive comes to fruition and manifests in this moment, and we get to allow it. and to invite it in ways that we don't even imagine yet. Should we play a little music and we'll do a little collection and then I'll do a closing meditation? We've got our breaking bread this Sunday. I think there's some eggplant parmesan out there waiting for me. Jody, why don't you come and do one of your lovely little treats?
Oh my goodness.
I love this lady. She's my inner car.
So we are grateful today for this opportunity to come together and hear the words of wisdom that already were in our heart, but just needed to be expressed through this beautiful, godly vessel of Reverend David. And this is our opportunity to give back, give to the Center for Spiritual Living and help support this beautiful building, this beautiful community, this beautiful sangha that we have grown together, that needs our love, it needs our blessings. So thank you, God, for this beautiful morning and for these wonderful gifts that we share together today. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, love. Thank you, God. There's that sound of the mindfulness bell. For me, it's a call to go home. To that sweet awareness that lives in the soul. I feel that inner beingness with all of life, especially with spring exploding all around me. It's no surprise that when people walk past the garden that they want to come and drink from the nectar of all these wild, beautiful flowers. I even have butterflies now. And when we step into the garden of love, well, then something happens. We step out of the me and we become part of the we. And then you realize it's all the one life, the great mystery of belonging. And we've come home to presence itself. It's so sweet. And so we breathe in that presence of divine love and light today. Not as something to chase after, but something to remember. I am remembering who I am. We have a lovely little chant that says that. And when we remember who we are, well, we can smile. I am the light of the world, and so are you. We are the love that knows no other. It's all the one life. And I love to say this, that divine love brings together and maintains together in harmony and balance those who belong together. And so divine love brought us here today to experience and to remember that we belong to this presence, and we are here to serve it by being an expression of it. And then have fun and do the dance and let yourself go. Be who you are. Oh, and let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let's take a deep integrating breath. Give a sigh for the divine high. We got a little song that we're going to sing to close this out. Open your hearts, open your mind.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna do a little hike up on Green Mountain.